Welcome everybody to another Fight Club demo. These are our Tech Thursdays, and today we have Barracuda, the Web3 CRM. We're joined by It's Only Chris, who's the UI UX designer, I do believe. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, do a lot of different stuff, kind of head of product and design, basically.
Okay, sweet. And Chris is going to give us a full walkthrough of what the CRM can do, and then we'll open it up to questions after that. So, whenever you're ready, Chris, take it away.
Cool. Well, first of all, I'm usually not the guy who does the demos. I'm usually behind the scenes actually working on the product and design. So if this is a little bit bumbly, then that's Sam had a conflict come up, so I'm filling in for him.
Sam's almost too smooth, so this is good. We like to see the rough edges.
Yeah, Sam drives me crazy. He's too smooth. He just always has knows what he's doing.
On point.
So you don't get the smooth Sam experience, but I'll be able to tell you more details about the product probably. So,
Fantastic.
um, yeah, so just brief overview about Barracuda. We have kind of been building in this space for a while, but you may have heard of us initially with our link in bio product, CUDA pages, which we actually officially just shut down to focus completely on the CRM. But as we were building in this space, we realized there was not a good CRM for Web3. We were using HubSpot. We tried out different things like Pipedrive, even Notion and Google Sheets, but they're all like HubSpot, especially very focused on email. And we were doing a lot of our work through Telegram, Discord, Twitter, all the channels that you guys all know. So we didn't really have anything that was filling our need, and we felt a lot of pain trying to keep track of all those conversations. And so we started talking to people and decided to switch into building out a tool set for tracking relationships across those channels and for Web3 and kind of more modern startups that are using these different channels. Um, yeah, so I guess the one of the primary things that we were focused on is the or like the user experience. I don't know if you all have used any existing CRMs, but they are really slow and really painful, and they don't have the nice design that we're used to with apps like Notion or Linear or even Discord has a much and Slack have much better user experience than anything out there. Um, so a lot of times we'll revert back to, oh, let's use Notion or let's use Google Sheets because at least they're easy to use, but then they don't do things like tracking and just all of the sounds like someone just popped on mic, Tisa, if you want to hit mute. But let me just go ahead and jump into the demo. That's a little bit of why we started to build a CRM, even though there's a lot of CRMs out there. We were not finding one that fit our needs. So um, I logged into our dashboard here. So this is kind of the main overview view. This is like your central hub for getting a glance at your overall health of your different pipelines. So your go-to-market pipeline, your partnerships pipelines, your co-marketing, all the different things that you're using. And this allows you to um, customize the different stages. You can have a new opportunity come in into one column and then move it between the column and track the status throughout the project. And this can just be a really easy way to get an overview of all of the different relationships in your company or your organization. So you can see we have different pipelines here. They're all customizable with different stages. You can have hundreds, thousands of different opportunities in here. And then you can click in and view the context on each of these. They load quickly, and you can see what the different status is. So you can see who the owner of each opportunity is. Um, One of the things that we found to be really frustrating with HubSpot was how many clicks it took to get anywhere. So we introduced the command palette that you have in a lot of other more modern apps. And so you can search for an opportunity, come in here, hit N, and start to leave a note. And you can do that all without leaving your keyboard. Um, you can also add tasks and keep track of all of that stuff. So it's just really fast to go pull up an opportunity, see the full context of the deal. Um, right now, our primary integrations are with Telegram because that is kind of our main use case, and with uh, Gmail for tracking email, and then we have Discord and Twitter and a lot of other integrations on the way. Twitter right now, especially, I don't know if anybody follows the all the drama with Twitter, but they just announced some changes in their API, so we're keeping an eye on all that stuff. Um, but the activity, it allows you to get full context of the deal. I know, especially in like in a DAO organization, there's a lot of people that come and go and work on deals and then leave, or you might not know where something, the status of something. So you can see all of the past activity, all the communication across different channels, the tasks, and the different changes all in one feed. As well as being able to look and filter down the different messaging channels and stuff like that. Um, on top of that, you can see which contacts are linked to an opportunity, organizations, all that stuff, and track different details based on those. Um, one of the things that we're actually just about to ship, which I might be able to show you a demo of, is we're completely overhauling how we do custom fields, and allowing you to track a lot more information, make that completely customizable. Um, so the opportunities view is kind of the main hub, but you can also go over to these different tabs over here. This is our main navigation. And then we also have keyboard shortcuts to go everywhere. So if I just hit GC, I can jump over to contacts and go to organizations. I can hop over and see my organizations and just get a table view that I can search through, and see the results and quickly jump to them. Beyond that, the other kind of main piece to this simple or like clean, I guess, CRM setup is tasks. We always have to do a lot of follow-up tasks. You can see I don't have very many on here because I'm actually not doing much outreach or anything. I'm completely working on the product. But we have Nate and Sam are constantly doing tasks, and you can go in and filter who the assignee is, and your task will show up here, and you get a quick view at all of those, including where they're linked to and quick short links to those different things. So yeah, I guess that's the overview of the main kind of four pieces to this. A lot of our approach is trying to make it as fast as possible to get where you need to go and do what you need to do. So again, just being able to go jump into here, add a note, that took less than 2 seconds, and in HubSpot that would have taken me about 8 clicks. The other thing I guess that might be notable to show is we have organization-wide settings, and this is where we'll build out a lot of our security and permissions and all of that stuff. But you can also, we have a Zapier integration, so we have an API key that you can use to start to add forms or any sort of other app that you want to have create opportunities or tasks or contacts. So this is how you'd connect to Google Forms or Google Sheets or whatever you want to use. And then the other thing we have is in the account settings, your personal account settings is where you can link your Telegram and your email, and then this is where you'll be able to link stuff, other things that we add in the future.
Does that include Discord? Will that include Discord?
Yeah, Discord is on our roadmap. We've been working on the kind of getting these base features polished up, and then we're going to build out more integrations, including Discord and Twitter, as long as as long as the API doesn't get deleted off the face of the earth.
As long as Twitter exists.
Yeah, exactly. So, Yeah, I think that's one other thing that's kind of notable that I think especially your audience might find interesting is we're a basic like SaaS monthly pricing per user, but we're only charging for active users that are actually editing information. So think about how Figma does billing, where you actually can have an unlimited amount of free viewing accounts, but then you only pay for the editors and admins. Um, we know that like in DAOs or a lot of these other organizations, you have people moving in and out, and you have can sometimes have thousands of people that would like to be see context on something. So this would be how we're planning on addressing the more complicated organizational structures of, and so you don't have a bill that costs $30,000 a month. It will just be the amount for your users per month. Um, yeah, I think that's the basic demo here. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them and can keep chatting.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question. So I wonder if there's features friendly for people to using like a crypto wallet, Web3 friendly stuff feature.
Yeah, so right now we actually support wallet login, which is another unique thing that I feel like a normal CRM would not support. So you can sign in with your MetaMask or I believe your Phantom wallet as well. And then the other thing that we're planning on doing with custom fields is having dynamic fields that can take in things like a wallet address or an API call, and that is kind of our way of bringing in uh, coin data or whatever else you might want to track to an organization or an opportunity. So I don't know if anybody was familiar with the CUDA Pages product that we had, but we had kind of a set of widgets that brought in data from different Web3 platforms. And we plan on doing stuff like that in the custom fields for these different CRM objects so you can uh, track data that you might find relevant to a contact organization or opportunity. Um, how soon we do those things and which ones we do first is kind of up to demand that we see, and the different requests that we get from people. So I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes.
Yeah, that was going to be where I was headed first, as well as Web3 integrations. And have you looked into like credentialed access? So let's say, for example, somebody holds a specific NFT, so they're part of a project, which means that they're able to access certain opportunities or certain contacts or clients within your org. Otherwise, if they don't have those credentials, then they wouldn't get access to those.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea. One of the things that we are going to be doing with permissions is having it pretty granular and uh, allowing it to fit the flexibility of these different structures. I don't know how soon we will have something like like a guild level sort of gated access to stuff, but it's definitely something we're building the permission structure with that in mind, so that then we can connect different like validation methods, um, including something like having Discord roles be able to change access. Um,
Yeah.
Again, no promises on how soon those things will happen because building a CRM, there is a massive a massive scope of things we need to get to work really well. Um, but those are all definitely things we've been thinking about.
Yeah, I think that would be one that would be really helpful around here at Bankless DAO anyway, because you mentioned guilds, we have departments, we have projects, and depending on who's involved in those projects or guilds or whatever, they should be able to have certain access, editing access, etc. And then I suppose there's a whole question of how do you manage the billing then? If I suppose you could kind of tie that into it, like you've got this many credentialed users who can access, maybe you could bill that way. Yeah, a lot to look into there, but that I think that was like for me that was one of the biggest features is having automated access based on what is in your wallet, right?
Mm.
Using your
Mhm.
digital backpack to get you access to certain opportunities and jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely it would be a super powerful feature, and is something that we've been considering.
Awesome. Let's open it up
Can
for
I?
other. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
go
I'd
go
love
ahead,
to
Bo.
jump in. First of all, NF, thanks so much for putting this on my bringing this up to my awareness.
Of course.
So, question then: when you have that Discord integration uh, ready, could we then have a single user that was identified both by their wallet address and their Discord address and their Telegram handle and on and on and on? Like, okay, Gmail address. Like, would all those identities live in one place within the CRM? And I'm speaking mainly from the user's perspective, from the like active business development managers.
Um, yeah, so just to understand, you're talking about, say, if I was logged in, would it be able to be linked to my Discord and my Telegram, all my different kind of online identities uh, per project?
Yeah, yes, and from like a high level perspective, like let's say I'm running or I'm managing the business development team. Can I have access to those identities from a management perspective? Going back to what you said about like tracking changes and the fact that there's lots of turnover and making sure that we can see who made what changes and identify them both by their Discord handle and their gated access in that way, but also down to their wallet address and Gmail and things like that.
Yeah, we'll definitely be able to link like the way that your I guess connected apps, they're linked to your user. So we will be able to assign different identities through different connections. And I'm sure that in a specific use case, if we needed to, like if we had a team that wanted to expose different stuff, we could definitely build that in. Um, right now, we're essentially just using a user display name, but we can definitely build out a more I guess showing different identities, and like when you hover on someone, it shows kind of their different primary identities.
The idea that I'm driving at is both from a accountability standpoint, but also from a payment standpoint. So, like, if there is a money stream that comes in based on the closing of a deal, that we would know who worked on that deal and allocate portions of those revenue streams to those different wallet addresses, right? And then to be able to, so if somebody only worked with us for let's say 6 weeks but brought in a great deal, they could potentially have a stream of cash flow from that directly into their wallet for some time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. So, I think yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, that would all work with the current system that we have. Obviously, there's a lot of integrations and stuff that we have not built yet. But your user, if you're an editor on a project, and maybe say you're only actually editing it for 6 months, your account won't disappear once you're done. All of your activity history will still be there. And if you're inactive, we'll just switch you over to a view only user, and then you can exist without you'll still exist in the Barracuda team without us charging you for active use. Which is
Yeah.
the whole reason we wanted to do the unlimited free view only accounts.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that was one of the very first hangups that I had when I was looking for a CRM that would work in this context. I don't want to hog the Q&A here. But I do have one more question, which is, I apologize, I joined late, but what are the very basic building blocks of your CRM? You've got contacts, accounts, opportunities. Do you have products? Like what are the various different related databases that you've already built?
Right now, we have the primary, we have tasks, opportunities, contacts in organizations, and notes. And those can all be associated with each other in different ways. We don't have products right now, but we've been using kind of opportunities. You can set it up to use opportunities in that way, which are like deals in, a HubSpot or Salesforce. And we very well might add products in the future, but right now it's those main four and plus notes.
That's cool. I would request products to be put on your roadmap, because I think that'll be really helpful for an organization like ours. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. Back to the pool for more questions.
Hi, I have a question about the flows that if you plan in a future have different flows, as I think that NF and Crypto say is we are a DAO, so we have different kinds of skills and different kinds of needs depending of the organization. So probably this kind, for example, of Kanban tags can apply for some of the guilds, but for others no. So usually something that I love of the CRMs is establish my own workflows of what kind of columns I'm gonna have per each of the kind of opportunities of kind of leads. And I can dispose of my teams for these different workflows that I can automatize and also program science scratch. So I would like to know if you have planned something of that in the CRM.
Just to make sure I understood correctly, are you talking about having different pipeline stages and have different setups for different teams and guilds?
Yeah, exactly. Especially for the different follow-ups that you do for a lead, depending of the needs and also depending of the kind of list that you are following.
Yeah, definitely. So we have different pipelines set up for different things we're working on, and one of the ways that would work really well is just to have different pipelines for different guilds and different teams, and then once we build out the permission structure for that, you'll be able to have teams that only have access to certain pipelines, and then those pipelines can have whatever stages you would like. We also have in the future, we have a lot of plans around workflows and automation. So being able to trigger different actions when, say, a deal moves from or an opportunity moves into the approved column, we can trigger an action that can be used for notifications, or even once we expose APIs, can use to trigger payments or whatever you would like it to do. And then we also have some features around automated follow-up sequences and even some pretty sweet AI customization for those things to help make follow-ups and sequences a lot more powerful.
That sounds great. Yes, it's one of the things that I think that really helps, and especially when it's a DAO, because we have different kind of pipelines. And I would like just ask if, for example, in the case of we can have that pipelines, if also can include documents and some of the things. For example, something that I love when I work with CRMs is, for example, the seller has already the mail that the template of mail that he gonna to send, and also the document that he need to send. For example, NDA. This is a lot more for Web 2 world, but and it's something that helps have these documents at hand in your CRM, because if not, it's a lot of waste of time. Search a doc, and if you can have that inside of the pipeline, and set the reminders. For example, I usually set that reminders in his mail or in his personal number, so he can be notified when an opportunity appears, and he knows what kind of documents and what kind of templates correspond for that pipeline. Will be nice.
Yeah, definitely. We have attachments, attaching documents to the different opportunities, maybe tasks. I'm not sure if we're going to end up attaching them to tasks, but opportunities, contacts, and organizations. We should be shipping in the next few weeks, actually. So we'll have attached files, most definitely.
Awesome, thank you.
I just threw something in the chat there, and I guess to explain it basically is that currently our CRM is run through DAO relationships, and it's kind of a burden on DAO relationships, to be honest. I find it confusing myself when I have to come in and take notes on a client or a new opportunity, and I don't know whether to keep it in the Bankless card notion or in the DAO relationships notion or in another project I'm working on or even in my own personal notion. That would be cool eventually to see some personal integrations as well. So you could have your own private pipelines. I think that would be a super useful tool. But yeah, I could see this definitely turning out to be a tool that each individual much like, for example, D-Work right now, most projects and guilds use D-Work, but some choose not to. Some choose to use other tools. So this could be a good CRM option for that, especially with the right ways for people to sign in and get access to pipelines, as you said.
Yeah, definitely. The thing with Notion that we've heard over and over is people love it for the flexibility. Um, it has a lot of the things you want for note taking, but it really is just not a CRM. And so when you try to force it to be one, it can get a little clunky and overwhelming. So yeah, we love Notion on our side, but it was not what we needed for this. So
could you show us some of the note taking, some of the features that you've got built in there?
yeah, right now the note taking is very simple. It's just a rich text. It actually takes in here, I don't want to mess up well, I'll just pretend. It takes in rich text. So you can write in Markdown here. And then let's see. This is a note. You got your bullets. And we don't yet, but we will have things like drag and drop an image in here, all the normal kind of note taking things you'd want. And then if you hit Command Enter, it saves it, and then you can see all the notes. And only the creator of the note can edit it, and then you can clear it from the project. So
okay, cool.
yeah, and then those things are all you can at any time throughout, and we don't have the standalone notes yet, but those are coming soon. You can use keyboard shortcuts T for a task. We'll have N for create note. We've got create a new contact, create a new opportunity, all that. So it's very you can jump through things pretty quickly, as you can see.
Yeah, definitely. And have you guys checked out? Oh, there was somebody else talking there.
Sorry, I was cutting back in. I was just gonna say the other, again, obviously lots of things to continue to build, but just calendar integration and being able to have a meeting scheduled and then take notes on that meeting and stuff. That's definitely in the
And so with Zapier, you can do quite a few integrations without much effort, right? So you could tap into certain other tools that we're using. What other ones are kind of on the immediate horizon?
So right now we have, for example, we have a connection to Calendly. So whenever someone books a meeting, we create an opportunity and assign that and to the owner of that. There's some stuff like definitely taking in forms input is a really obvious one of like adding a contact to the organization. And for the more robust things that we want to have be really fast and seamless, like say a Slack integration or a Discord integration, we're gonna build our own native integrations, kind of like the Gmail and Telegram stuff, so
Mhm.
that so that we can make sure it's really fast, and so you're not relying on Zapier for an integration with that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, cut out the middleman. Nice. And did you mention prices already? I know there's the free view version, but how much would it cost realistically for a project to use this on a regular basis?
Yeah, right now, we have just a super simple pricing plan of $30 per user per month, and that's the active users, and then everybody else is free. Eventually, we'll probably experiment more with pricing, and we'll add in different plans and stuff, and probably down the road, eventually have like a base free tier that allows you to do a couple things, but I probably shouldn't have even said that because I don't want to promise anything.
Haha, alpha here today, everybody. You heard it first. uh, nice one. Any other questions from anybody? We've got Tessa, who's from Fight Club as well. We did intros earlier, Tessa. Then we got Anointing, who's also from Relationships. You know, a lot of longtime contributors here, Mikhail. So everybody who's here are the type of people who would use this tool on a regular basis with discovery calls, um, you know, out there meeting new clients, etc. What do you think, Saman?
Yeah, just a question I had, maybe an odd question. Earlier when I was going through the website, I actually saw that noticed that there was no mention of Web3 or crypto at all. Like, I was just wondering, like, why that is, and is like, I know that previously there was a curated.io product which was specifically for Web3, but now is it? Yeah, just if you can just talk about why that is, or if you're aware.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's kind of a few different answers to that. Uh, one of the right now, most of our current customers are Web3 organizations, and they're companies that are they're building in the Web3 space, and so that's still where our focus is. Um, but as there was one of the main reasons we temporarily had to scrub mention of crypto from some of our marketing was Twitter kept banning our account because of just some really weird automated rules they had. And so we had to go through an approval process. Um, and so that's why there's literally no mention of it. And we'll add back in kind of a page on the specific Web3 value for the CRM. And then the other thing is we have shifted our focus from completely only Web3 to starting in Web3, but also trying to provide value to other, I guess we call them modern startups. They're teams that are more remote, that are more focused on flexible work arrangements. And so some of that broadening some of that marketing is kind of why we've removed that, if that answers your question at all.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Because crypto's a bad word, everybody.
It is if you're trying to get approved for Twitter ads, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And it'll be interesting to see how that changes over time.
yeah.
I feel like, so every time I search for BanklessDAO on Twitter, it's I have to type out the full thing and then I have to scroll down half a page and then I click on it. And every other Bankless related international media node, everything to do with BanklessDAO shows up first, even Fight Club. And yeah, the only thing I can assume is that either it's something to do with my cash or they've been flagged, and you know that could be the reason.
Yeah, we definitely went through a lot of hurdles to get unflagged by the
Mhm.
account,
Interesting.
but yeah, it'll
Okay.
be very interesting to see what happens. I mean, because ultimately, I think the lines will blur between, like, I don't think it'll be like, oh, you're completely Web 2 or you're completely Web 3.
Hmm.
it'll be things like, oh, you have a DAO-like structure and you have, wallet-based permissioning for your enterprise software. Like that is, I think that's the world that, we see happening.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, as obviously over the last year, engagement has kind of tanked, to put it lightly.
100%.
Yeah, so that's kind of been
90% in some cases.
yeah, it's really been an interesting thing to watch, and then to try to build something that's flexible enough uh, to work for um, the current market, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's it's that whole Web 2 meets Web 3 thing, and I think what you guys are doing is really important in the fact that you're allowing wallet logins, and that's the first step to a whole world of what's available with blockchain technology. And you don't have to say we run on Web 3. You don't have to say like crypto under the hood. You don't have to say any of that stuff. You just have to build tools that people want to use. And I like the fact that you don't include Web3 or crypto on the site because we don't have to advertise it as long as people are using it. The utility and the value is still there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of just talking like general product and I guess marketing sense and design sense. It's like you don't want to sell necessarily the technical nature of something, and that's something that I've seen a lot over the last few years of crypto companies kind of doing. I want to say poorly, but it's like the main selling point of something shouldn't be that it's, uh, you know, built on blockchain. It should be that all the benefits of the blockchain and the normal consumer, and eventually as more traditional companies adopt Web3 technologies, it's like they don't care what sort of blockchain verification your wallet sign in has. They just want to be able to sign in with one click to all their different accounts. Like that's what they want. And so when you're marketing to a more a less technical crowd, I think that it's important to talk about the value you can get, not necessarily the technical
The technical side of things. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I do feel like that's where a lot of the projects here within BanklessDAO have had challenges finding their fit. Is they oh hey, we got Sam just joined in. Hey Sam.
Hello, everyone. Excited to hop in. Sorry to miss the first part, but I'm sure Chris did a great job.
Oh, he nailed it.
We got the big guns in now.
Yeah, we were just talking about, well, obviously, Chris gave us a great run through of the product. We had quite a few people here, and we all had quite a few questions. You can review those in the recording later. And yeah, we were just talking about Salman Needs a Job asked why it doesn't mention crypto or Web3 anywhere on the site. So Chris gave us the kind of whole background on Twitter, etc. And then we were just talking about how, realistically, you don't need to advertise that you've got crypto or Web3 under the hood as long as the tools work. Yeah, that's about where you jumped in. So welcome, sir.
Awesome, great to be here. And yes, I think it's funny. I found when meeting with some teams, they will ask me when I'm doing the demo, so is this a Web3 product or not? Because we don't have it advertised in the website. And truthfully, I don't know that it would be fair to even call ourselves a Web3 product in that we don't have a token. We're not on chain. But our feature set is definitely built to drive great outcomes for those teams. And just all of our initial design partners and our own use case was in the world of Web3. So I guess it would depend on a person's definition, but we don't like to split hairs, just want to build something that works great for folks.
Well put. Nicely said. And so, in terms of roadmap, you've got some interesting things coming up. Anything that you're super excited about?
I think the thing I'm most excited about is the things that we're planning on doing with custom integration fields and just linking your CRM records to different types of data. So no matter where that data is coming from, if it's, some sort of NFT API, or if it's literally your data warehouse or your mix panel, so you can track product usage inside your CRM. It's really like bringing together the or trying to bring together the silos of different information from sales and partnerships to the rest of the organization. And there's a lot of experimentation that we'll have with how we connect those things and make it really easy. So that's kind of my, I guess, from the product side, what I think will be really interesting.
For me, one thing I'm excited about, I'm the type of person who, this is probably a bad habit, but walking down the street, on the subway, always glued to my phone, on Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere else, discovering cool projects. Then I'll see them and think, I would love to really dig into this later and make sure to reach out to the team. And I need to get that info into my CRM. What I used to do is just send a link to myself in Slack, and then when I'm later on my desktop, get it in there. And Chris has been working on some cool stuff using our bot and Chat GPT, where I can just send notes over to myself. Hey, check out this company on Twitter later, and then figure out a way to get that free form info into the CRM. That when I'm sitting at my desktop later, it's in there.
All right, Chat GPT coming in hot. Nice. I like that. So you can easily save links and they can go immediately to the CRM. See, I'm like that as well. I see things that inspire me, things that I want to come back to, things that I want to read. And I know I'm never going to come back. And I learned that like 10 years ago when I started creating tabs, and I would never I'd never have time because there's just too much. And when it comes to jobs and doing things around an organization like BanklessDAO, and something comes up and you need to create a task flow, that task flow, if you've built that task flow and it exists, that's great. It's easy then to just use something like Chat GPT and say, okay, this is like earlier, Chris, you mentioned the Calendly integration. So I'm thinking right now with these demos moving forward, you have, somebody can book in Calendly and it just triggers that process. It triggers everything from then on down the line. And then the banner is made, the intro text is made, and automating that whole process will make it something that's easy for everybody to be involved in some way.
Yeah, automation, and then using basically AI to turn, I guess, more natural language into like make the automation more flexible and smart, I guess, is one of the most exciting things just generally, I think, about where technology is going right now. So yeah, we're definitely going to be working on how to fit that into helping you close deals and get your pipelines moving.
Moving the pipeline. Any other questions from the audience here today?
Yeah, I've got no personal questions. They've not been 100% following up because where I'm at, but I think it's a cool product because I see it's gonna add everything that needs to be done. Sorry, apologies for the noise. I'm actually outside. Yeah, so kind of brings back all the work together in just one place, which is why I like it. Maybe it's from my own point of view, making use of the BanklessDAO CRM over a long time. But the BanklessDAO CRM more like trying to do things from different places all at the same time, linking different stuffs together. But yeah, the product actually, from what I can see on the screen when he was working on it, is like an organized space where everything you can get it's just in one place. And for me, it's an easy work for me. And I'm hoping that it can be used for startups that are not just Web3 as well. I didn't catch all of what was said about that not being crypto-centric and all of that. So I just really hope it can be used for other tech startups that are not Web3 based.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things that we've really been wanting to help honestly startups like us that are kind of in that middle ground where they have some Web3 things, a lot of Web2 things, a very Web2 I guess business structure and all that. Um, but then obviously maybe working in Telegram, and there's no CRM that's going to integrate with Telegram natively. So we're definitely excited to build for sort of the small modern startup as well.
I have a quick question. Where does the data live, and what happens if, say, a project wants to migrate off of Barracuda or like migrate data to some other place for their own whatever reason? Barracuda's data provider source gets hacked or something. Just curious about the security.
I can take that one, Chris. We use MongoDB for all of our data storage. Just the founding engineering team has access to that today. In terms of doing a migration, at the end of the day, all your CRM data is your data. So everything, like one thing we found with HubSpot, because we've actually migrated a lot of folks from HubSpot and other CRMs to our platform, they let you download some of the data, but notably none of the notes or history on the deals can be pulled out of the platform. And if you can't take out your notes, you lose so much context. So um, anything that you want out of the platform will provide to you. In terms of how that actually happens today, we're early stage with both our data uploads and downloads. So it's all manual on our part, but we'll get you all of the data out of the platform. And then eventually we're going to build Google Sheets integration so that you can live sync all of the data that you have in Barracuda into Google Sheets and take it with you wherever you want.
Got it. Thank you.
The command palette was mentioned quickly. Was that difficult to integrate, or is that something that we're going to see more of? Because I've noticed it in Telegram and Discord now, but I'm not seeing it in many other apps that I use. So how'd that come about? I love the feature. It's dope.
Yeah, I mean, command palettes are super hot right now, but I think that's for a reason. They make it really easy to do anything you want to do in the app from anywhere, which is notably not something you can do in most CRMs, and especially in the actual powerful CRMs. Um, I like, as far as general trends, I predict pretty much every new software will have something like that. But I don't necessarily see the incumbent big CRMs adding that because of the massive amount of tech debt it would have to like make that actually work. I mean, command palettes have been around for a long time and useful for a long time. Um, but you haven't seen Salesforce or HubSpot add one yet, so I don't imagine they'll be adding one too soon. And if they do, it'll probably be quite the task. But yeah, I'm especially excited to see or to keep working on improving that, including some of the stuff Sam was talking about with having, uh, I guess, being able to send free form commands to a messaging channel and have it interact with your CRM.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to basically do that from anywhere in the app, and potentially from anywhere in your browser with like a Chrome extension, that you could literally be on a different website and launch your command palette for Barracuda with the context of the site you're on. Add the LinkedIn profile you're looking at right there. Add it in dynamically, but obviously a lot of ideas, a lot of things to build.
Yeah. Would you go as far as a system-wide integration? Because I know I've got some tools on my Mac that allow me, like, keyboard management tools and that sort of thing. And maybe a native integration would be cool. You could be in any app and just get it straight away.
I mean, definitely would love to do that eventually. I imagine that would be once we launch a native desktop app in general,
Hmm.
which I don't see any time on the near horizon with the amount of other prioritized features. But definitely, I mean that a native apps in general would be a really interesting thing, but I don't foresee it anytime soon. But
Yeah, you can get most of what you need done with the browser, and yeah, it's definitely makes it easy for mobile. So why
yeah.
not? Nice. Well, yeah, this has been super helpful. We've got a couple new people have joined in. For those who missed what we went through, this has been Barracuda CRM. Barracuda, they designed some link tree. It was a link tree style product with Web3 integrations, and they gave us some to BanklessDAO and a few of the projects, and we used them for quite a while. But they've transitioned out of that and are now doing CRM automation specialists. And yeah, seems like you guys are really pushing this effort forward. So congrats to that. Did anybody have any other questions before we wrap this baby up? Floor's open. No. Anything that you guys wanted to add, Chris or Sam?
Yeah,
Just say this,
I
there
asked a
happened.
question.
No,
Sorry,
go ahead.
I asked a question in the Barracuda chat in the channel there. If it's ready for use for the public.
Oh, good question. I think it definitely is, right? You guys are live, correct?
Live,
Yes.
yeah. Onboarding companies every day. There's no self-serve sign up yet, but if you're interested, I'll drop my email, Telegram, Twitter, everything in the water cooler chat. Happy to chat over any platform.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you're interested and wanna get going on this, yeah, send a contact to Sam and they'll get you onboarded. Nice. Yeah. Well, I'd like to demo this out. So add me to that list. Send me a link. Yeah, and I'd really like to play with it in the back there and see if we can integrate it into some places around here or even personally, because it doesn't necessarily like I've been approaching this whole CRM thing from the BanklessDAO perspective for quite a while now. And now I'm only just starting to consider how I can use this in my own personal work as well, because I have my own separate company that I obviously self-employed in my other ways. And I think even there, this is going to be a huge help for me.
Awesome, love to hear it. Well, I will make sure to get you an invite link.
Excellent. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. And thanks for coming. We'll be here again next Thursday with Piggy.ai. So join us then if you like, or on Wednesday for the other demo. Can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But yeah, if you're interested in demos, please come along and get involved because we love to do this. We love to share the products. But there's a lot of work to be done. Super big shout out to 0xZFi ETH for recording this for us and always being here. And thanks to the team for showing up, Sam and Chris. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Cheers, everybody. See you later.